introduce Mark Hansen, our head of lower school, who's been is in his fourth year now. His wife Deborah works here. We spoke about Ellen, his daughter in ninth grade. He's had a son that graduated, and your other son out of college already, Mark?
Yep, he's working. He's out of college.
Oh my goodness, my good. Time goes fast. See, Lauren, you have all this and Nancy to look forward to. So yeah, it goes faster than you think, though, for sure. But all right, I'll turn it over to Mark.
Thanks, Debbie, and good morning, and thank you for joining us. It looks like we have a fairly small crowd, so at any time, please either put a question into the chat room or interrupt us, and we can talk about it. And it's interesting, the last year of lower school, and Mrs. Shunnis and Lauren's going to walk you through it here in a few minutes. And on the other side of it, right now, we're in full swing of planning the final steps of our fifth grade celebration, and that takes place the day after the last day of school. And so we're into the preparations of that, as well as now welcoming you to our fifth grade year. And we're very excited that you're joining us. And we, the lower school is just a lovely community of students and faculty and parents. And we really certainly enjoy having your children here. One of the things I like to share, especially with new families, is just our commitment. And a year ago, as you know, your child was probably in some sort of online learning like we all were, and maybe even this year. But we realized pretty early on last spring when we were doing that the academy, the magic of academy does not happen with online learning. It happens with the interaction in the classroom with the teachers and in their peers. And so we spent all summer working on what are the ways we can make sure that we have our kids in school every day. And we're happy to report that through a lot of mitigation, a lot of energy and enthusiasm of our teachers, we've been able to have our lower school students in school every day all year long. And we're really excited about that. And the teachers have done a yeoman's job of this. For example, our fifth grade classrooms, we have 6 homeroom classes. Our average class size, we went from 28 homeroom classes to 45. And so our average class size is 10 during this. And we did all the mitigation and that we could to keep our students safe. But that meant, like our fifth grade this year, 5 of the 6 classrooms are in a converted, our gym where we play all of our basketball games. It is now 5 classrooms, and they've been divided up, and it's not ideal, but it's absolutely much better than online learning and having students learn from afar. So we've made lots of modifications, but in the end, we knew that having kids here on campus is the most important. And that's our commitment to you, is to always look for what we can do to make their experience meaningful. So I'm going to turn it over to Brelly Fahrenkopf. Brelly is our Associate Head of Lower School and Director of our Early Childhood Program, which at Academy is our Explorers, which is age 3, our Pre-K, and our kindergarten. So good morning, Brelly.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to share more about what fifth grade is all about. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, as Mark said, I oversee the early childhood program, but I enjoy getting to work with the older students as well. I have 3 children who graduated from Academy, and my husband works at Academy, so it's definitely a family affair for us. We're excited you're here, and I'm going to turn it over to Lauren so she can tell you all about fifth grade. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, thank you. I'm Lauren Shunnis, and I'm one of the fifth grade teachers this year. I'm also the team leader this year, and this is going to be next year my 9th year in fifth grade. And kind of a fun little fact about our fifth grade team is what we hope you'll find from our meeting today is that it's definitely a year of transition. And I joined Academy when fifth grade was in the middle school, and spent 3 years in fifth grade in the middle school. And then when fifth grade transitioned down to lower school, I stayed with fifth grade. I love fifth grade. I have taught anywhere between 4th grade and 9th grade. And fifth grade is by far my favorite, which is why I've stayed in fifth grade so long. And myself and another teacher on my team were in the middle school with fifth grade, came down. The other half of my team moved from a lower school classroom to fifth grade when fifth grade came to the lower school. So we have a nice balance of team members who've been in the middle school and see kind of how the middle school works, and team members who have a long history in the lower school. So we like to find the balance in fifth grade. This is our team of teachers: Robbie Simpson, myself, Vanessa Taglia, and Shannon O'Connor, the 4 current fifth grade teachers. And we, like I said, half of us came from middle school and kind of know how the middle school is organized, and half of us came from lower school. So we really focus on fifth grade being a year of transition. And, you know, you're in a unique position where your students are going to be transitioning to a new school. So they have that added transition. We've been very mindful of all of the changes that we've had to make this year possible, and know kind of the changes that fourth grade has had to make as well. So we know there's going to be a huge learning curve between staying in a pod-like environment in a homeroom in fourth grade to really getting ready to change classes and move around for each class in middle school. So we're going to take it slow and steady next year. We typically have new students in fifth grade often. So we like that the environment stays in a lower school environment in which we have morning meetings and get to know each other, and, you know, play different games to learn names and fun quirks and hobbies of each other. And then we also have lunch tables that we share, and we make sure that the students sit in a particular table with their classmates the first couple of weeks. And then we slowly, as the year goes on, teach them just kind of how to be welcoming at a lunchroom table, how to find a lunchroom table. So just kind of getting ready for them to navigate that in middle school. So our kind of philosophy behind CARES in the lower school, which is cooperation, assertion, responsibility, empathy, and self-control, is taking that and those really 5 foundational structures of lower school and applying it to our fifth graders, who are the oldest in the lower school, and thinking about how can we really instill compassionate hearts, creative minds, responsible choices, knowing that they have active bodies. And we feel like we provide a lot of leadership opportunities for them to be leaders of the lower school, and, you know, show that there's responsibility and assertion and cooperation within all levels of the lower school, but also making those responsible choices as the oldest in the lower school, and really expanding their creativity in different ways in our curriculum. So our schedule includes all of our core classes each day, but then we also have Spanish, tech and makerspace, music, physical education, health, art, and science. We have each of the homeroom teachers teach social studies, math, language arts. We do operate under kind of a hybrid schedule where the students will switch classes for one of those subjects, and that offers them the opportunity to really learn about how different teachers have different teaching styles, and also navigate that organizational structure of having to know what you need for each class and gather it, working out of a locker, and take it with you to another classroom. So we really try to build those executive functioning skills in fifth grade, so that when they're in the middle school and they're navigating their different classes independently, they kind of have that strong foundation moving forward. Our homework is a little different in fifth grade than I think in the other grades, where we typically expect them to have homework in each of their subjects each night. We have our Envisions math curriculum. We usually have about 15 to 20 minutes of math homework each day. We expect them to read each night. In language arts, we do a lot of writing about reading. So thinking about not just what our story and our book is about and understanding what's happening in the story, but also applying what we're talking about in our morning meetings, like character traits, to the characters of the book. So a lot of times they'll have a writing about reading assignment. And then additionally in social studies, we typically have a little bit of homework. Social studies curriculum ranges from right after the Civil War to World War II. And then this last part of the year, they do a huge national parks unit. So the kids right now are learning about all the different national parks in the United States. and researching and creating different projects to reflect what they know and what they learn. And it's really awesome to see a lot of the pictures that the kids have of national parks that they've visited with their families. And then occasionally we'll have homework in other subjects. We do have something called a flex in our schedule. And our flex is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's flexible time. So we use it for whatever we feel like the students need. If it's kind of a very heavy academic time in the school year, we will give them time to work on their homework, ask questions, get that support that they might need from the teachers. Other times we try to expand and extend different parts of their brain. So we might do creative projects. We might do more makerspace-like projects. We might do some partner and cooperative work. And then we also use that time for other activities, like if they're viewing the middle school musical, they get to go and watch, or middle school assemblies, just to kind of see how the middle school works. So we kind of incorporate that into our flexible time as well. I kind of touched on organization, but really building those organizational skills in 5th grade is something that we focus on. And so we do utilize an assignment notebook where they'll write down their homework each day and what they have. And we do start some longer, bigger, larger projects. So kind of keeping track of those small due dates leading up to the large project being due is something that we really focus on. And we talk about how to manage your time and what you need to get done when, and thinking about, you know, what do you have after school, and does your after school activities impact your ability to do some of your work on certain days of the week? And how can you manage the work that you have on the days that you don't have as much going on after school? So really kind of getting them to think about their time management is something that we focus on in 5th grade. And then additionally, each of our students have an iPad that they're able to take to and from school. So we utilize Google Classroom, which is something that they utilize in the middle school. And so we teach them how to use Google Classroom to check what homework they have. Let's say they forgot a paper at school, they can access the PDF of the paper on Google Classroom. So really teaching them to use their resources. If they forget something at school or they don't have the materials that they need, they can typically find those notes, handouts, or homework assignments on Google Classroom. And we also use that to communicate to students. So for example, we're starting standardized testing next week, and the kids need to bring their iPads and chargers to school today. So I had an assignment that they needed to bring their charger, post on Google Classroom. I posted an announcement this morning at 6:45 saying, don't forget your charger today. So, and then they get a little notification on their iPad that something new has been posted. So it works really well. And it also allows them to reach out to us. So we talk about advocacy a lot in 5th grade, and really advocating for yourself. If you have questions about something, how can you make sure that you reach out to a teacher to let them know that you need help? If you don't feel comfortable asking in front of the whole class, you can email a teacher. Each of our 5th graders have an email account that can only receive and send to other Columbus Academy emails. So we talk to them about emailing your teacher if you need help, or sending a message in Google Classroom, and just really learning how to be a responsible and independent student that's committed to their learning. So Google Classroom has really allowed us to have some of that back and forth communication outside of school hours. This is what a main Google Classroom screen looks like. And we'll talk more about this at the back to school night, but this is just kind of an idea of what your student would see on their iPad, and then kind of what an assignment would look like. We have the PDFs or Google Docs linked. They have directions for an assignment. So it really has helped us help them be more independent and organized. We do have a buddy program at Columbus Academy. So our 5th graders are linked with 2nd grade. So we try to, once every 6 days or once every couple of weeks, meet up with our buddies, and they play together and they do different activities together. We go down and see all of the 2nd graders' projects that they are doing, so they get to share, and then vice versa. The 2nd graders will come and see all the different projects the 5th graders are working on. So it really kind of builds some community. And the 5th graders are always cute because they see the 3rd graders or the 1st graders that they had as buddies in 4th grade, and they really love seeing them in the hallway. And our 2nd grade class is always screaming at us from across the field when they see us. So it's really nice connection that the 5th graders have with another grade. Some of the kind of highlights of our program are that we do visit the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. Obviously, we didn't go this year, but we're hoping that we can make that happen depending on the unknowns of next year. But they do a huge rock and roll unit in music class, and they learn all about the roots of rock and roll. So that's kind of our culminating event for our music program, is visiting the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We do all kinds of different STEM activities where the kids are kind of forced to think about different aspects of engineering or science. So one of the activities on the far left is we built solar cars this year. So we went outside and tested our solar cars to see how fast they would move, or if they moved backward or forward, and how we can fix it. We really reflect on that growth mindset of, if it didn't work, what could you fix to make it work in the future? They build bridges, so they learn about bridge structure, and then they build a bridge and they see how much weight it can hold. And, if it doesn't hold very much, they go back and rework and rebuild and try again. And then the bottom, this was just a Halloween activity that we did where we read Room on the Broom, which is like a really cute little children's book about a witch and her broom. And then the students were tasked with building a broom and seeing how many of those candy pumpkins it could hold. And it was very cute seeing them excited about the amount of pumpkins their little broom could hold. So just one of the other aspects of our curriculum is just kind of getting them to expand their brain, think, reflect, try again, know that, mistakes are okay. People have different strengths and weaknesses. And then the last picture is our Shakespeare Day. So the students do a Shakespeare unit in music and drama at the end of the year. And usually it culminates in a Shakespeare Day where they play games that were developed during the time of Shakespeare. They learn about different stage acting skills, and then they perform one of the acts from Shakespeare. So we had to modify it a little bit this year, but it's still happening and the kids are excited about it. And then ultimately the transition to 6th grade happens at the end of the year. So we're kind of right in the thick of it right now. So all through the year, we're doing different things to get them ready for 6th grade, like showing them how to use Google Classroom, getting them used to having an email account where they can email their teachers, getting them used to working with their iPads. We do attend usually middle school assemblies and watch the middle school play or musical that they do, just to kind of get them acclimated to middle school. We have a wonderful and beautiful middle school library. And so we do an orientation to the middle school library, usually around November, December. And so then the students are able to use that library and know where things are in that library. So it opens up a whole plethora of new books for them to check out. And then we also have a special shadow day where the 5th graders go and shadow the 6th graders for a morning and kind of see what classes are like in the 6th grade, meet the teachers. And then the last thing that we do, which we just finished up, is a language rotation. So the students will take Spanish all year long, but then at the end of the year, we have a couple of Chinese classes and a couple of Latin classes with the middle school teachers. And at the end of 5th grade, they'll choose which of those 3 languages they want to continue on in 6th grade. So we kind of expose them to a little bit of those other languages before they move on. So that's kind of 5th grade in a nutshell. I can't see if there's any questions in the chat because I'm sharing my screen, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about logistics of next year or curriculum.
Lauren, maybe you can stop sharing them and then we can see
Yeah.
people. I think it might be easier. There we go.
No question.
Any questions?
We've got the pros here. Hi, Molly. Anything? We don't want to leave you hanging here.
One of the things one of the questions that has come up in some of the other grade levels that we've been doing is, since it's been, we only have students in the building and families and parents haven't been able to come in. One of the things that I would recommend is please feel free to come up on the weekends to use some of the trails. We have 231 acres and we encourage you. I know they're going to send out a trail map, but you can really just wander anywhere and you'll run into a trail and you won't get lost. But also on the weekends, feel free to use the playground equipment. We have some new playground equipment in the lower school that the kids are really excited about. Things are pretty, they're used by our after school program till about 6 o'clock at night or so, but anytime after 6 o'clock or on the weekends, feel free to come up and enjoy and look around.
I'll ask a question. So I know there's typically 4 homerooms, and I presume the kids stay within that same cohort of kids for each class. What are their opportunities to mix with the whole grade?
So we will mix them for math. Usually they'll get mixed with other students from other classes in math. Obviously this year we haven't done any of that, but we're hoping next year we will. We've done interest groups with other classes. So this year, we just did it via Zoom, but we had like a sewing and knitting group. We had a Lego building group. We had a sports talk group. And we had a playwriting, creative writing group. So the kids just preferenced what their interests were. We saw kind of what the majority of the kids had picked, and we each offered a different interest group. So then they came to us for that group. And this year we were just Zooming, but it was just a chance at least for them to see some faces of kids in other classes. So we do typically do that as well, where they'll get to come to a different homeroom and with other kids that have a similar interest. And at recess too, they get to play, together at recess all together usually.
And next year we'll actually have 5 fifth grade classrooms. So we'll have 5. We had such interest and to keep numbers down, classroom size down, we'll have 5 sections of fifth grade. And we're also, this week was the first week we've been allowed to have 2 pods play together. So it's been exciting to see kids reunited, because for most of the year, they really haven't seen each other. They've had to eat lunch. They kind of see each other in the dining hall, but they have to be quiet and face forward and all these restrictions for COVID. But we hope to be back. I mean, back to normal next year. Our plan is to go back to normal activities that we've been able to do. And obviously if the governor and the health department make restrictions, we would follow them. But we feel pretty confident that what we've done so far has worked, and nothing is telling us to continue into the pods next year so far.
Yes.
Mark, Scott, I do have a quick question. Scott Cripps, hi, how are you?
Hi.
Sorry, I'm on my phone. I'll try my video. There it is.
Oh,
Sorry.
you're good.
I have the same backdrop as you. A nice one. So on that point you just mentioned about the extra classroom, just out of curiosity, I mean, do you guys have a sense of what the classroom size on average is going to be this year? And coming in as a new family, was curious, out of the full fifth grade population, kind of how many new students to the school there would be?
I think, Debbie, do you have those numbers handy right now?
Yes, probably 18. There's probably going to be 80 some children in the class, and then divided into 5 sections. Next year, the numbers aren't, etched in stone right now. But certainly the reason we went to the 5th section was we had a lot of great kids applying, and it's tough as admissions department and lower school. We are admitters, it's tough to let a child go that we know would thrive at our school. So lower school graciously and everybody cooperated in having that 5th section. So with that, I would say 18, probably at the most. The upper grades, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, they do a lot. They're very independent. So we're able to take more kids at those grade levels, just because they're, moving around in groups, and as Lauren said, interest groups or math groups are separate and all of that. So we're, plus they're not like a little preschooler or kindergartner where you're still doing more guiding. You know, when kids in those grades say they need to go to the library, we trust they're going to the library. So there's a little bit more independence, but good question. We were, thrilled to be able to add that section. I don't know what they're going to do when sixth grade comes around. We need to add more kids, but not my problem. I'm the lower school. No, I'm just kidding. I don't mean that it's not my problem, but it's a nice problem to have. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
You know, roughly out of the 80, how many are new to the school?
There'll probably be, oh gosh, I would say in fifth grade, let me look real quickly here. About 9.
Okay.
Yeah, 9. And I am starting now to work on host families where the kids would be, you'd be paired with a family just to be able to ask questions, and having another section, we need more parents. We're working on that. And it's just to have a point person so you can, ask. And sometimes parents do have questions that they don't really want to ask us, that they want to ask another parent. So there's nothing wrong with saying to a current parent, hey, tell me about this. Is this really worth everything that's coming up that they might not ask a lower school person or an admissions person? But it's such a strong team in fifth grade. And plus, with 2 of them having come from middle school, that transition, I think Robbie and Lauren were really able to help a lot with that transition because they know what's coming up in middle school. And I like the fact that they're using the lower school library half of the year and then the other half using the middle school one. So it isn't all hitting them in sixth grade with this is completely new and lockers and all of those things that come with a middle school. And I think the kids love for 1 year getting to be the oldest kids in the lower school. And because the next year, boy, you're low man on the totem pole again, as they say. We've all been through that. Yeah. So
Well, we'll have that experience going on in our house as well because our son's going.
That's right. Yeah. So you'll see it all. But as far as new kids coming in and adjusting, you know what? All the kids are mixed up teacher-wise, grade-wise. Everything's new to them. The locker with the combination is new to all of our kids, not just the kids coming in. So a lot of this is not, and our kids are not pretty, they are very receptive to new kids coming in and showing them the ropes and around. And the host family will help. We have an ice cream social meet the teacher that I'm sure will be able to be instituted back in. So there will be, we're planning a new event in admissions where it's new families and host families. So you will have an opportunity to get to meet there. And given yesterday's announcement of, lifting some of these things, we're going to be able to maybe step it up a bit and see each other face to face. So looking forward to that. And I can tell some of you, I am retiring in June, but we have 2 lovely people. I joke that they hired 2 people to fill my job, but it's Lisa Spolter, who is a current member of our lower school teaching first grade, and Lauren Leahy, a current parent, and they're going to come with a lot of new and wonderful ideas, but there'll always be somebody to contact in admissions, your host family, or call Mark Orbrelli in the lower school as well. So hope that's helpful. Thanks. Good questions.
I can piggyback on that too, Debbie. I was just thinking when you were saying, getting to know the teachers, we've been talking about how normally the 4th grade, we see the 4th grade all the time. So they kind of know our faces at least a little bit going into 5th grade. But we're so isolated this year that, I'm sure there's 4th graders who I've never seen this year, just in the way that our schedules work and the way we're in the hallway. So we'll all be kind of new faces to everyone next year and not knowing. And the 5th graders, I've had lots of new students in my classes, and the fifth graders are always so excited to just show their home turf to the new kids and show them around and show them how lunch works and all of that. So yeah, we definitely will take good care of them, and the kids are just so excited to have a new face and meet someone new and get to know them, that it's just really sweet to see.
Another thing too, we don't like new families to be categorized as new for the entire year. After a couple weeks, okay, but after that, even from the get-go, you're part of our community. You're not going to be new all the time. So you join right in there, and you'll catch on. There'll always be somebody to answer your questions. So, anything else?
Quick question. This is Jessica. Is there another session coming up? Sorry, my video is not working. Is there another session coming up around like transportation? And I'm curious about the hours of the school, transportation, after school care. Like, I thought I saw something that might be coming up about that, or maybe it's not till August.
No, it'll come sooner.
Okay.
We're working on all those things. You'll get them. Maybe Nancy, are you on?
Yeah,
Can you speak to that?
yeah, we posted information about transportation and after school pickup in your portal in my school app. I sent an email about it, I think on Monday this week.
I did see that. I was more curious, like, do the kids go to the high school, like to then be commuted over to Columbus Academy? Like, I was kind of curious, like how much, busing they're going to do. And I know it's more specific to our route. So I don't know if that helps.
I can kind of talk about, I don't know the route so much, but like when the students, all the buses come to the bus circle, and it's kind of it's outside the middle school, and you can see all the buses that arrive to the lower school. So when the buses arrive, there's a faculty member out there that meets them, and then they come down. And this year they go through the hands, they get their hands sanitized and come into the building. We'll see what sort of restrictions we have next year, but normally they would play on the playground once the bus comes until all the students come in the morning. And then and then in the afternoon, there's faculty, lower school faculty out there that help. So it's a pretty seamless process for when they arrive and when they leave. I think if you're involved in CASE, if you want the after school program, you can sign up for that, and it goes until I believe it's 6 o'clock in the morning. And you can drop, and there's a fee for that. If you drop off your child in the morning, I forget these things after a year of not having it. Is it 7 or 7:30 that families can drop off? 7, and there is no charge for that. And that's a supervised time where the kids come into the building and are supervised for the time until school starts.
Okay, so the kids don't ride on with the public school kids. They don't go to like a public school, like a pickup drop off. They go directly, like they'd be picked up at the house and go directly to Academy. Is that typically how it works?
That is typically how it works, Jessica.
Okay.
You can call whatever public school system you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You will call them and say, my child's, going to the Columbus Academy. Where are the drop off and pickups?
Okay,
They will tell you. We don't always know all of those.
yeah.
But another thing too, my experience with it and hearing from parents is they pick up our children and then take them directly to their drop off. They're not stopping at like 4 elementary schools if you're in Burlington and pick up more children. At least that we're finding that they pretty much take our kids and take them home. So the kids aren't on the bus an inordinate amount of time.
That's what I was trying to understand. So thank you. And I can also call our transportation service.
I would definitely do that, and just to make sure, but most of the time that's our understanding. Or I'm sure we'd hear about it from a lot of parents if they were on the bus a long time.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Okay, good. Anything else? I hope all your questions were answered. You're probably going to get a lot of things in that My School app and host families and things coming up, maybe more information than you care to get from us. Thanks, Mark Brelli and Lauren, if there aren't any more questions, we'll get on with this pretty day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. And if you have any
you.
questions, feel free to reach out. It's a long summer. And so feel free, if you have questions, one of us will get back to you and it's no bother at all. And as new families, we know there's lots of questions. And so rather than sit and worry or wait for a reply,
I'm on
just
camera, I'm on
reach out.
camera, I'm on camera. I would-
Good job, Molly.
That was, my mom wanted to say hi, I think.
Oh, she should. Tell her to sit right in here. Molly is one of our graduates, and I hung out with her parents a lot on the field hockey field. So no problem.
pressure, no pressure on the field hockey front in this house.
No pressure there at all. All right, everybody. See everyone later.
Bye-bye.